Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 1 of our Hour, where today we're talking about the future. Introduce our topic here, Max.
Okay, so for this episode I just decided to talk about the future because it seems very simple and not that hard. And last time we kind of talked about the past. It's good for us
tiny brains.
Yeah, we're not big brain.
Yeah, if you were to be like talk about basic math, I'd be like, this is gonna be
it's already too far.
Real bad episode
Way
for old Neil.
All
right, what's first off on our topic list here?
It would be ourselves in 5 years.
All right, we'll have Alex start off. Then he hasn't talked yet.
Oh, you want to?
All right.
Okay. Myself in 5 years, bum.
Done.
I don't think much is gonna change from now. I mean, hopefully in 5 years I will have been in college, and most likely I'll still be in college because I think I want to continue my gap year for now. Not make it a gap year, but a gaping hole through my education career.
How long are you thinking about going with that?
That's a good question. Maybe we'll talk about this.
I don't know, because I have a lot to think about for it. I mean, I want to pursue drawing, but I have to figure out what it is that I even want to do with my life. I want to be a German teacher, but I also don't want to be a teacher at all. Teaching's kind of... I don't think I would really be up for it as, my personality, the way I am.
Well,
just doesn't seem to mesh well.
I mean, I wager, what would be best for you is probably, getting, a doctorate in German education. Well, there's education, which is, its own degree, apparently, teaching. Mm-hmm. And then getting, a doctorate in that so you can, teach at a college level. I don't know if you really need a doctorate to teach at a college level, but it'd be helpful, I assume, for getting a job. Because then you wouldn't be dealing with, a bunch of, you wouldn't have to deal with what Hair G deals with all the time, which is us fucking idiots.
Yeah. I don't have Hair G's presence like that, and I don't have his patience.
The other option is that you go and be a high school teacher and usurp Hair G out of his position.
I just come up to our school, I'm not going to name names.
The school in which we went to high school.
Yeah. I'll just be like, well, Hair G,
even though Hair G kind of... I'm like, give it away.
They don't know who that... They're going to
You can research that,
People are going to search up Hair G.
I mean, we already mentioned him in last... Well,
That's
not last
true.
episode. Episode 0 doesn't exist. Do not watch it, alright? Okay?
They don't even know what episode 0 is.
My brain didn't exist there.
God, we're so dumb, and a lot of the stuff I said in that episode, I'm like, I don't agree with that. Why did I say that? That's not me.
You want to beat your past self up right now.
I want to beat the shit out of myself.
I'm going to want to beat this version of myself up in the future.
Future.
That was
Segue back into the topic.
Me in 5 years, bro, I'm going to want to beat myself up for this. In 5 years, I hope this really kicks up, and it's big, and I can, actually enjoy this and, the full extent of it.
That'd be
great.
I
mean, then you don't really have to, get a job. It's a long shot. You can just do this. I mean, there's a lot of people who have very successful YouTube careers. Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to be one of them.
Well, hope for the best.
My first 3 years at YouTube did not lend any credence to that, so...
You learned a lot, though.
I guess we'll continue along the rotation here. Let's go with Max.
So I would like to be teaching at that point. I want to be a science teacher, preferably in high school, because elementary kids, they're tiny, really tiny, and they don't understand a lot of things. They're pretty dumb.
Because in middle school and elementary school, the stuff you're teaching in science is you got cells.
Yeah, you actually got stuff you're working with.
Yeah, you're not just an existing creature.
Middle school kids are just dicks, and
I
they
think middle
smell really
an awkward
bad.
Era, anyways. As a person, you're kind of trying to figure out where you are. Exactly.
Then you gotta consider...
And you're gay all the time. All the time in middle school.
Thank you, Alex. But then you gotta consider Mr. Tickle. He has a great time with it.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is true. But he also... No,
Please go on.
When I had Mr. Tickle, he didn't teach much. He told really interesting stories, and all I remember is how to make a really good burrito is our DNA.
Wait, is Mr. Tickle... Is he a high school teacher?
Yes.
He is a high school teacher.
He's Mr. Perfect.
I don't even... I get Mr. Stoddard. That's who I was
Stoddard's a god.
Stoddard is absolutely a god.
So I was talking to Nate... You know Nate Trindle, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking to him the other day.
It's in my D&D group.
Yeah, because we go to college together. He told me about that. But we were talking about Mr. Stoddard, and apparently he went just like backpacking somewhere for like a
Yeah.
good semester. And,
No, like a
had
whole year of
full
school.
It was like he saw him and he had like a full beard grown out and like really long hair. And
Yeah, I
stuff.
see. He comes in Allen sometimes. That's probably where Nick saw him, because back when I worked there, I used to see him. I was like, that Mr. Stotterby? Yeah, he basically took a whole year off education, left the garden club and all that stuff because he just went back.
Dude, I remember the garden club.
Garden
I was there when it was
amazing.
starting up.
I
helped
was
with
there.
that.
Yeah, I helped build the frameworks and stuff for that place.
I didn't help any of that. But
I probably
enjoyed
helped
being
it.
there.
I still go there on occasion to see how they're doing, you know.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 2 summers ago. I didn't go last summer at all because I was busy messing with my own garden.
Yeah.
But, yeah, occasionally I stop by, or I'm like... I think we had these weird, like, acorn squash-looking things that weren't at all acorn squash or edible. Growing... We don't know where they came from. We didn't plant them. They just started growing in our garden. And I gave one of them to... I think her name's Robin or something, one of the people that helps out at the garden club. Mm-hmm. And I hope they plant those because they're just kind of like a neat... They last a really long time, so it's almost like a decorative gourd.
Yeah.
Nice.
But I remember one class. There were 2 classes specifically that I remember Mr. Stoddard being a really interesting guy. And one of which was... He made us go out the whole class and like work on the garden and stuff.
Yeah.
Which I was fine with because I was already doing that anyways.
Yeah, real good time.
But other people were complaining because that's how it is in middle school. You complain. You look at anybody.
Outside air,
you're like
Well,
12.
like in elementary school, the popular kids are kind of put in place already, and then once you get to middle school, it's really defined who's popular and who's not. So if you want to try and look and appear popular, they'll just follow what they do, and if they don't want to do that, then you're just like, I don't want to do that.
I chose that middle ground. I was friends with everybody.
Yeah. My friend group between elementary school and middle school, like, cut down to pretty much, like, just Derek. And then, like, I slowly but surely met all you lads.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you want to be teaching.
Yeah. We talked about that in episode 0, the non-existent one.
That doesn't exist.
Oh, okay. Do you want me to go over it again? But briefly.
Sure, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so briefly, we being me and Alex, we were in the same science class senior year, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do at that point.
Is this the story?
Yeah. So my teacher, he brought me on the hall one day and just told me he thought I would be a really good teacher and that I have the heart for it. So I went with that since I didn't really know what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much that. But I did talk to like Hair G and whatnot, and I think I'd really enjoy it because I'm more of an outgoing person. Mm-hmm. And kids you can just like mess around with. They don't really care that much. So
yeah, I mean, a lot of teachers that are like the good teachers are the teachers that make like kind of cruel jokes towards their kids, and everybody else laughs except that one kid. But that kid gets the benefit of laughing at the other kid next time he gets his like shit kicked in by a teacher.
Then you just feel great.
And those are always the best teachers, and they always get the most done. And it's like all those like really strict teachers are less fun, and people learn less because of that. But I don't know, me in 5 years, I'll probably still be in school easily.
Yeah.
Because I'm getting several degrees there. I'll be done with my computer programming degree, and I'd probably be well on my way to making like a video game, hopefully, or something. Mm-hmm. And I'd probably be done with my architectural drafting degree. Hopefully in 5 years I'm done with all my 2-year versions of the degrees and I can be at UNL or UNK or wherever is better.
Just go to UNK because that's where I'm going.
Yeah, I know. That's like I'm going to have to look at that like in good detail.
Well, whatever benefits to what you are.
Yeah, exactly.
For me it works really well because they have a good education.
The only reason I'm choosing UNL is because I know my brother-in-law Ryan, he went there to get his computer programming degree and he does very well for himself. And so, but I haven't looked at the UNK programming education, mm-hmm. but I'll hopefully be in UNL or UNK still getting my master's and stuff for those degrees. Other than that, I have absolutely... I don't know. I mean, I'm going to have to like find a way to balance. Like, I got to figure out if I can like do a job while I'm doing those master degrees. And according to what I've heard, it's very doable. And I'll have to see how dumb I am to see if I actually am capable of doing that. So that's why 2-year colleges are wonderful, because it's a good way to test out how well you adapt to the college system.
The thing with the 2 years for what I'm doing, once I get 2 years done, I have a degree that allows me to be a substitute teacher.
Yeah.
So like I can go
and for your teaching,
and it's a great experience.
Well, for your teaching degree, you need a certain amount of exposure hours anyway.
Yeah, which I went to that first class last night to set up observation hours, but it was basically just a bunch of paperwork.
Did you decide any of observation hours? Or?
No, it's like the 3rd class or 4th class in where you go and you set up.
Do you know who you'll be observing, or like local teachers? Or?
They said it works best with either the middle school or like certain elementary schools.
Okay,
but that'll be interesting because
remember that time who was he? He was like only one grade above us. He used to work at Allen's too. Came in and was shadowing under Harry G for a class because he's a jerk.
Oh yeah,
I know who you're.
Spencer.
I know who you guys are
Spencer
talking about. He came
Yeah.
into one of my class. He came into my class one time, and Brandon knew him, but he was there one time.
Yeah, because
He seemed cool,
his
though.
brother I think is a grade below us. He also worked at Allen's for a while, but yeah, he's a really chill dude.
Mm-hmm.
But
I liked that day when he came in.
yeah,
'Cause I remember Harry G didn't know something, so then he asked Spencer, and then Spencer didn't know something, so then he asked me.
yeah.
Well,
So
I
you know
didn't
you're
know.
like you know you're in the line.
Yeah, I'm in the lineup.
It's all coming together.
See, like what happens is Harry G passes on the title of German teacher to
He passes
Spencer,
the hair.
and then Spencer
Shortly
gets
after.
fed up with it really quickly and passes it on to you
Yeah.
in like a year.
Yeah.
Or
Or I
guess-
just come and like kick him off the mantle. And
Yeah, you
for
just
myself.
there can be only one. Or they could just like our high school could just do what they do with like the Spanish program and have 15 teachers for it. You know?
That's so
Yeah.
dumb.
Yeah, they should get rid of one of those teachers.
Eliminate.
They should
Eliminate.
just get rid of one of those teachers. We don't need 3.
Put into exile.
Like we have one French teacher, one German teacher that do the exact same amount of work, and from my experience in German class and Spanish class, there's more work done in German than there is in Spanish anyways.
Mhm.
And we have 3 teachers in the Spanish section.
Well, I feel like
Why?
Harry G does a lot of work because he has a new class activity every single day. There's like
He's a good teacher.
there's like the occasional movie day, and that's not because he can't come up with anything. It's because he's like, I've been running these kids like a fucking lawnmower.
Or he's like,
That's a reward for.
or he's gone.
for hard
yeah,
work.
or he's gone.
Oh, yeah,
which
that
is
too.
he never gets sick. His immune system must be.
He was
impeccable.
gone one day, and it wasn't even like I don't even remember. He wasn't sick. He just had to like be somewhere. But
Yeah.
By the way, I learned that my vaping does come through on the audio. So if you ever hear that sort of weird background droning noise, that's just me being a nicotine addict. Don't worry about it. But yeah, I mean, all right. I suppose that's it for our first bullet point there. What do you got next for us?
the next one is the world in 5 years, and kind of how you think that'll be.
I have no goddamn clue. We might all be dead. Nuclear devastation.
That's what I'm saying.
Every
bro.
hour of every
You
day.
never know.
Future's kinda
People are
spooky,
crazy.
spooky. And my mom talks to me about some of the stuff that goes on because I don't dig into like politics or like what's going on in the world because I'd rather be in that
I'm not
ignorant.
bold.
Your mom
Yes,
seems
for
really
politics.
educated in politics and
She
shit.
is.
She always has something to say.
She knows a
about
lot
it.
about a lot of stuff.
There's a lot of scary stuff going down in Virginia right now. Apparently, they're trying to take away the Second Amendment in Virginia.
I
which is
do know
starting
about that.
Like a tiny uprising, and my mom
Yeah.
thinks that's going to be the beginning of the world's downfall because it's going to start America's Civil War. And
Second one.
We're
and
moving.
if that happens, I'm honestly I might just kill myself. Not really, but like that's some scary stuff to think about. Like it
Yeah.
almost makes me not want to
There's
like,
a lot of-
grow up.
Yeah.
Well, like the thing is, like, yeah, that's pretty scary stuff. But on the other hand, like, it's the federal government attempting to push on a state, which has never gone
Yeah.
well.
Mm-hmm.
Like currently, like they, in terms of recent active news, they raised the smoking age federally to 21. In Nebraska, they raised it to 19. And literally, I think Pete Ricketts, is that our current governor?
I believe so. Yeah.
I am very
You may look
politically
it up.
undereducated. No, I'm just politically undereducated. It's fine.
It's
But I believe
okay.
it's Pete Ricketts.
I don't care enough.
He
Yeah.
actually apparently did a public statement telling the law enforcement to enforce the state law of 19 and not the federal law of 21.
Okay.
Though a lot of shops, including larger smoking chains and business chains like Walmart,
Yeah.
adhere to the federal law because they
They can't.
don't change
yeah.
it. Well, not they can't. They just don't change it between
States.
states. It's too hard, bureaucracy wise.
Yeah.
But
That doesn't surprise me.
yeah, with that thing, I did hear about that, and apparently a similar situation happened where the police just aren't going to enforce that sort of heavy gun restriction thing. And it's and really at that point, what can you do? The federal government would be incredibly unwise to call down National Guard resources. That would most assuredly start a civil war.
Most likely.
But if the police aren't enforcing it, and that's what apparently the state government wants it and the federal government wants it, if they're not enforcing it, then is it really a valid law? Because that's the point of the policing forces to enforce.
Well, I mean, one
whatever
of the
laws.
more terrifying things that happened recently, starting today, is that the governor declared martial law for a week.
Really,
Yeah,
that's a really big deal.
Today?
that is it starts today. He declared it a few days ago, talking. It's going to happen from what's today, the 17th or something.
Yeah, it's Dad's birthday.
From the 17th, and it'll last a week. and he said something about how anybody in whatever the capital is better not have a gun. So my mom was talking to me about this, and she thinks that the idea is this guy wants shoot to kill as an order for it.
That's like kind of the point of martial law. It gets rid of a lot of rights for individuals, and that's why places shouldn't be like allowed to do martial law without very intense like government screenings on that shit. Because
yeah,
well, that's one of the problems that I saw. Like, I guess, like, what I think is the idea is that a governor being able to, like, just say, hey, I'm enacting martial law this time to this time is supposed to protect us if we need to, like, do a revolutionary kind of thing. But that's kind of dumb in my eyes because people should never trust their government, even if you're under, like, a really good government. It just doesn't sound safe to give all the power to one person.
Like, people left to their own devices with large amounts of power will almost inevitably do something shady. Like, it's just the way people
just gets
are.
to them.
Which is why checks and balances are a thing, but on a state level, that becomes a little more of a blurry line.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is definitely a scary thing when you hear about martial law and stuff being enforced in individual places like that. That's never good.
Yeah, I wish the best for Virginia for this whole week. Hope nothing bad happens.
Yeah, well, like that's
we'll
like the real
wait and see.
That's the real scary thing is we talk about what's going to be on in 5 years, but hell, this is happening
5 days.
Yeah, it's
what
like,
could happen?
And it that's like a really decisive thing in history if it goes the wrong way.
Imagine he said he was going to happen tomorrow, bro. He had to wait for the shipping days, the business days. He'd get the martial law on Monday. No.
But yeah, what do you think? Like, given the idea that society doesn't like implode on itself and we all die in a horrible nuclear apocalypse, Fallout. Let's
it's
go.
Like a 50-50 chance.
But implying that it doesn't, what do you guys think? Like the world?
I think that if we are to go through civil war, but it doesn't end the world, and it kind of just like cleanses America some way, like we just end up with a new kind of government.
Yeah.
I feel like for a while we're gonna see a brighter world for a little bit. Because that's usually what happens after civil wars. Like, right after, it's kind of devastation, but then afterwards, it's like, we're just chilling now.
Sometimes, unless you consider, like, Sudan and, like, South Africa, where they proceeded to finally get their independence and become South Sudan, and now they're fighting, like, 12 rebel groups at all times. Something, one of Sam Onella's videos.
Scratch everything I said, I'm moving to Japan or Germany.
Easy fix.
I don't know if I've moved to Germany, Chief. They have a bad history with starting wars. No, I don't think. I think the interesting thing is it's probably going to be America that starts the Third World War if it does ever happen. Like, it's going to definitely be America that starts that bullshit.
We're always in wars.
Because, like, the first two times, we were kind of an isolationist country to a degree. We were like, we don't want to interfere with your business, and that kind of also made us reluctant to join wars, which caused a different set of problems. But now we're the exact opposite.
Here comes the boom.
We have our finger in everybody's government somehow. Like,
yeah.
Which, so it would definitely be us probably, but, yeah, I don't know.
We're a nosy country.
We are.
If you think about
I think we need to go back to an isolationist culture.
What do you think the world will look like in 5 years?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. It's hard to say, because people can really just, like, change their minds immediately for no apparent reason.
That's
true. Pressure could get to them just because of, like, we were talking about power that they have. Yeah. Pressure could easily get to someone because they don't know what to do. And then they make a dumb decision based on that.
That's true.
Sometimes they're good decisions, though, but
a lot of times
more often.
Poor.
I'm hoping that in 5 years, Kanye will be president. Come on, guys.
That's why in 2020, I have decided to run for president. It's 2020. Where's Kanye?
Yeah. Kanye, where you at, my guy?
Because look at Gaga. She's the creative director of Polaroid.
I like some of the Gaga songs. What the fuck does she know about cameras? I love Kanye.
Who doesn't?
He's a very charismatic fellow, that's for sure. He's got...
yeah, that's the word.
I mean, it's true. Like, there's just some people that have, like, a natural charisma to them, and that's where they end up in those... out of nowhere political positions.
Yeah.
Like, our boy Arnold, the Terminator, the Governator himself.
This will be interesting.
He's a movie star, and then he became a governor.
Yeah,
why? Because he has just infinite charisma points.
He's Arnold.
Yeah, it's like, we want the Terminator to be our governor. Please. Please.
That sounds like a good idea.
Wasn't he governor of California?
Yeah.
Of all places.
I know, right?
Yeah. It's a shame. I don't think he can be president because
he's already done.
No. It's maybe I'm wrong on this. Maybe I misheard something in history class in middle school and I'm just dumb.
Very likely.
But don't you have to be a natural born citizen of the US to be a president?
Yeah.
I think so.
Well,
so and that's kind of sad because I feel like Arnold would do a good job. Like
a lot of people, who
despite being like
job.
a very gung ho movie star, he's also a very intelligent person
good,
out of nowhere, and he's also Mr. Olympia himself. So you just walk up and be a Chad in their face and be like, "All right, man, we'll do as you say." Give us our next point. I think we.
So next on the list, it kind of works with what we were talking about. We were talking about Alex said he'd either move to Germany or Japan. The next one is living somewhere else. But that doesn't have to be because of war. That could be like
I want to go
just
move to
because
Germany.
you want to move somewhere else.
I want to move and live in Germany. I really like their educational system. I really like the air around there in terms of like the general emotional state of the average human being there.
Yeah.
Like you go to like the wrong place in New York and you can kind of feel the pressure of very angry
Everyone's
humans
just
in mass.
pissed off. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like everybody's in a generally bad mood. But like there, maybe I didn't wander around enough in Ulm, but I did do a lot of wandering around in Ulm.
Parts of Ulm.
But that was I never found a place where I felt uncomfortable. I was like, this is all wonderful. And maybe that's just like my tourist mindset.
That might be it, but I'm sure it's friendly.
I mean, yeah, and it's just I went to like their schools as part of the German trip, and that was their kids just seem so much happier in their educational system, and maybe I just wasn't there long enough to see some of the underlying problems if they exist there. But at our schools, everybody constantly in a shitty mood.
Oh yeah,
unless you're a preppy kid, in which case you're popular enough that you don't care. And
you'll be, or like if you're super rich.
Yeah, if you got a lot of money and you can go to a charter school or some shit.
Yeah,
but yeah, like they're like. Teachers seem to enjoy their jobs. Every last one of them seem to enjoy their jobs.
Yeah.
Because I went to science classes, and they do a lot more in their science classes. They were
like
messing with like robots and coding in their science classes,
so
as well as
better.
doing like chemistry and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
And then I went to, weirdly enough, they had a French class going on, and I watched. It was like a German movie in French, and then like they had like French subtitles, and I understood a lot of it because there's still a lot of similarities between the languages there.
My brother said he went to like a calculus class, but like it was kids who were way younger than him, which threw him off.
I was
like,
supposed to be in like the equivalent of like freaking middle school, but I walked in there to an English class. I walked into an English class, and the teacher's like,
"Not math."
He's like, "No, thank you. No. I'm gonna put you up with the 10th graders." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And then that's where I met like a bunch of really, really chill folks because I was with kids that are basically sophomores. I think is the equivalent 10th grade.
Yeah.
So basically sophomores, and they were all pretty alright people, and they were doing a lot of really neat stuff in their classes.
Yeah.
They have longer breaks between classes and stuff, so kids are never like shoved from one class to another instantaneously. Like between two classes, like Stefan, my host dad, made me like a nice little lunch of like potato bread with like some stuff in there. Really good, by the way.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Between a class, we went from one class and sat outside the door of the other. I had time to eat that whole lunch and sit there and talk with them, and then we casually went into class. We didn't all run into class like kids do. Yeah. Like the kids that casually walk into class here because they're late and they don't care. Mm-hmm. The kids over there don't rush into class ever, and they're all still on time, and everybody's always on time. I didn't notice any late showers really, because I think they really did want to be in their educational system, which I like. So I want to move to Germany. What about you?
I mean, like, Germany is a good place for me anyways. I mean, like, when I'm interested in a language, it's not like I'm just there for the words and, like, the knowledge of that language. I'm also interested in, like, their culture and, like, all that. So, like, the two foreign languages that I'm, like, dead set on wanting to learn, whether that be through, like, language or culture, is German and Japanese. So I would be a little hesitant in going to Japan, because I wouldn't want to visit, like, their bigger cities, and then I don't know if I would feel really comfortable in, like, their traditional rural areas. But, I mean, like, Germany is just always that's a pretty big one to go to for, like, anybody, I think.
That's a big change.
No, not a change. I'm saying, like, in terms of, like, tourism in Europe, I think, like, France and Germany might be like some of the bigger ones that people want to visit, right?
Well, yeah.
There's a lot of
It's because they have a very
there.
unique and powerful culture. Like,
Yeah.
they got good foods, good sights.
That's kind of stuff you were saying, yeah.
Yeah.
But then for like solely living, I don't know. Like I'm interested in both those places for just like living and not just like a tourist aspect.
I always thought if I wasn't going to go to Germany, I'd go somewhere close. I thought I might want to live in the UK for a while. Just see
That'd
what
be
it's
fun.
like and adopt the British accent.
Gotta watch out, bro.
Wholeheartedly.
People will shank you.
Yeah.
I kid you not. That's a big
Shag
thing.
your nan.
They'll shag my nan.
Yeah,
That's
they want to
even
shank-
They'll
worse.
swear on their mum.
Fucking shag your name.
Swear on me, mum. But yeah, no, I think it because
God,
it's
British
just
slang is amazing.
yeah, it's the most beautiful thing ever. I swear. Like,
Is it not?
yeah. What about you, Max? What about you?
Here's the thing. Since I want to be a teacher, I feel like that gives me a lot of flexibility when it comes to moving.
Mm-hmm.
And also, in this day and age, male science teachers are in very high demand. I don't know the reason exactly, but I know they
Because they're all
are.
females.
Well, also, male
Yeah.
teachers in general are more of a demand because you need good male role models for like children growing up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and it's like, and I noticed it a lot in some of my classes with like female teachers.
Mhm.
Is the girls in that class can identify with their teacher and thus are more invested in the
Yeah,
class.
it might be
like,
harder for
and
males to do so.
And like, I always got really invested. Like in English class,
Mhm.
Miss Hedstrom's class sucked ass, did poor, horrible. A lot of other stuff that caused that because of background history with her.
Yeah.
But
then Mr. Witt.
but she's like good at her
Mr.
job.
Witt is a god.
I just wasn't invested. And I was about to say, but with Mr.
Yeah.
Witt's class, I did not exceptional, but I did well. Same
Mhm.
with Mr. Mays,
yeah,
and I was in the honors class for Mr. Witt.
yeah, I was.
And I,
Same.
you know,
Yeah, we're
I
in the
thought he
same
was
class.
a very cool dude. He had,
Yeah.
like wears ties, like bow ties.
Bro,
because
he gets
thinks it's
so
chill.
excited about his bow ties.
And that's very
That's so
endearing.
cool.
That's
Yeah.
a very wonderful quality. Like, I mean, when you're able to identify with the person that's telling you stuff that you need to know to like continue on with life, it
Yeah.
makes it a lot easier.
It really
I agree
does.
with that. So, but where were you thinking you'd like to live if not the U.S.?
If not the U.S., well, let me flip this. I'll start with the U.S. and then go out of the U.S.
Thank you, Max.
Bean boozled. No. Do it. But the U.S., I think it'd be cool to live in a place like New Mexico or Arizona. I just like that area a lot. And I have family who lives in New Mexico, so that could always be an option for starters. But outside of the U.S., I haven't really thought about that much. But from what you guys said, I think the U.K. would be pretty interesting, just to see how different it is there.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really know. I haven't thought about it that much. It's like
Never thought about Canada?
Canada would be nice, and I don't mind the cold that much, so I'd be fine with that.
It's not always cold there.
Well, about 9 out of 10 times it's pretty cold.
9 out of 10 days in the week. What?
That's how long their weeks
Yeah,
are. It's a
that's-
whole different
because
thing.
it's
out
It's a
so
whole
there.
different thing. Their months, 13 of them for some reason.
February, 31 days.
Bro, we're in 2020.
And it's
they're
still
in
the shortest.
2021, bro.
Yeah, dude, they're in 74.85 somehow. But
Can you imagine living
I think
in
it'd be
70?
neat to. I think I would want to go to Canada at some point, even not to
Canada
like
would
live
be
there,
really
but just to
cool.
like visit there, just because it seems like a cool place.
That's another thing as a teacher. I would like to travel a lot.
What do you think about like when you're like real old, like you're gonna die? Like I think I'll come back to Nebraska. Like I
I
feel
think
like
it'd be cool. What it would be like is kind of like how Luke in Star Wars, he was born on Tatooine,
yeah.
and like he kind of went off to that island. I don't remember the name, but it had the two sunsets, so it kind of reminded him of Tatooine a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he dies, he's like looking at that, and it kind of brings him back to that place.
That's
you know what
nice.
I mean? So I feel like I kind of want something like that.
So
Just
moving to
symbolically.
Kansas instead of Nebraska.
Big change.
When I'm old and decrepit, I'll just move in with my kids so they can take care of my
Until
broke
you-
ass.
Well,
Wipe my ass!
I just feel like I feel like
going to a
when I get
home.
old, and maybe this is just like a younger mindset, but I feel like when I get old, my bones will call for home. I'll be like, I gotta
Yeah.
be here.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel.
Or like if I were ever to settle down and get a family,
Just go
which
buy a
me
farm.
of all people, it will probably be a lot later than the average person in life.
Oh,
That's
why
what
is
I
that?
think all the time too.
Kids are an inhibitor on my life. Like, you can't really go out and explore if you got a kid.
Yeah, I see.
Unless you got enough money to, like, pay a constant babysitter and stuff like that.
Bro, I was talking to my cousin. She has 3 kids. They're like all under the age of 7 or whatever. And she's like constantly trying to find things for them to do, whether it's like have someone watch them or just
which shouldn't be that hard in
or
this.
whatever.
Yeah, like that shouldn't be
But
horrible.
apparently, like daycare and babysitting and stuff can be really
expensive. I know my nephew
which
goes
I don't
to
know
that.
that much about, but like apparently it
expensive.
is.
It's
Daycare
also,
specifically.
it's
Like,
really-
you can pay like
costs a lot.
hundreds,
Yeah.
bro.
It's really good for them though, because a lot of the times
You
they
socialize. and
well,
everything.
socializing, and then some of them, like kind of like preschool, kind of give you a bit of preemptive education. It's,
Yeah, they
it's dumb
start
kid
learning
stuff
things.
like shapes and crap, but that's good. It helps.
It helps, yeah.
It also gets them, into the mindset of being in the educational system for a majority of their young life, because that's where they'll be.
That's where it is, yeah.
But yeah, like, and if I were to ever have like a wife and kids and like a family and stuff, I'd move to Nebraska.
Yeah.
I think, like, unless I like went to Germany and truly found that I really like their educational system enough to like put my kids through it, then otherwise I'm fine with our educational system. It has its most assured flaws, but not everything.
If you go through it the right way, it works.
If you're
out
the
well.
right type of human being, if you think in their mindset, school's gonna be easy for you. But if you don't think in their mindset, and I sure as hell don't.
Future kids of mine, be
it's
prepared.
You're gonna have a shit one.
I'm gonna be a teacher. You're gonna have to go through this. That's a good segue.
Yeah, that's
though.
what. Yeah, that was our next bullet point. I read
Is
that.
wife and kids.
What do you think, Alex? Go ahead.
Alex is
Wife
always
and
starting out
kids?
the.
I mean, like, I want a family, but
I
at
think
the same
most
point
people
in
do.
time, I don't want a family that's going to be like the most important thing to me at the moment, if I think about wife and kids, is the wife. The kid doesn't really matter until I... No, like, the kid doesn't matter until I settle with somebody that I actually enjoy their presence. And one of the things I would be most terrified in a like family like with kids is like, what if I end up not liking this person anymore? What if like things come between us and then we have to divorce?
Which is very
and
common.
that
hard.
can be really hard on kids.
I know
I don't
personally.
mess with
It's
that.
Trust
it
me,
causes problems. Like,
My parents are divorced. Yours are divorced.
Yeah.
mine are
Yours are
divorced.
Yeah.
Sorens are.
Yeah.
It
Pretty much
causes a
everyone.
lot of issues.
It really
Yeah,
does.
so-
It's hard.
It's hard on a kid, and it destabilizes their young life, which can cause a
And
lot of problems later if you
I
don't have the
literally-
constitution as a kid to fight through it, which a lot of kids don't, and it can ruin their lives.
I literally don't remember like anything other than divorce. Parents wise, like always going to two separate places and whatnot.
Well, my
because I was like 3 when they got divorced or something. It's like 3. I don't remember. Anything.
it's some similar age for me, but
Yeah.
my mom and dad got back together and separated a few different times,
Oh,
and so
really?
that constantly closed and reopened wounds, which got infected.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And it becomes more of a problem than it actually is. It's like, get over it, you're adults.
That kind of happened with me almost because my mom, she remarried like I don't remember how long it was, probably like a couple of years when she got remarried. But then her and my stepdad at the time, they got divorced. Like right as I was going into middle school, I think. So that was a lot of change all at once.
Yeah.
I was just kind of angry. But for
I
no reason,
was
really.
Well, you can look back, and my sister tells me a lot of this because I don't remember a lot of life before high school.
I don't remember too much either. It was just
and I mentioned why in episode 0, which doesn't exist, so that she'll never know.
Yeah, what's that?
My middle sister was there a lot for me to like act as like a consistent driving force to be like, go here, go to school, come on, get going, and stuff like that.
Kind of like
and then when she left, because she has to go do her own life, she has to move away, go to Omaha or whatever, I became a very emotionally unstable child in like elementary school and early middle school. It was bad. That's why I ended up on a bunch of prescriptions in middle school.
Elementary school and middle school, I would get in trouble a lot. I
never
like that was kind of part of it, especially in middle school.
A lot. I just like...
No, I was like...
It was just more like it inhibited my social interactions due to my general attitude, I think, is the real problem.
The biggest change for me in elementary school to middle school was elementary school. You probably remember. I was really outgoing. I would try and be like the class clown most of the time. And then middle school, I really got a lot more shy because you moved away, and then
For one whopping year.
and Haniel moved away, and Aaron Kip, he moved away. And those are like the only friends I had at the time. But like Soren was there, and that was about it. And Soren's not like a loud person; he's kind of quiet. So I just kind of
stuck with that.
Well, I went to that, and I went quiet and everything.
Yeah, I mean, I had a similar situation where like pretty much all of my elementary school friends except Derek moved away in terms of like male friends, and then all the friends of mine who were girls just ceased communication because that's what happens.
Growing older.
Yeah, I know exactly, but that never helps.
No, it doesn't make you feel better, but like it's just one of those things.
So yeah, it happens, and then so it was a good little while before I ended up growing a friend group again, and then like I never really actually started properly growing a good friend group again until like junior year of high school.
Hey, that's us.
You maybe. I never talked to you a lot in middle school.
I didn't talk to you a lot.
I talked to Alex a good bit in middle school, not a whole bunch, but some. I mainly because I got lumped in with your group of like Spurbergs. Like we had like I was there, and then you were there, and Soren would always be there, and
Trevor would be there.
Brendan would be there. Brendan would be there. Yeah, and that kind of was the start of a lot of future.
I think the reason I didn't
7th grade was a very hard year for me. Yeah. You can continue.
No, you can say why it was a hard year, and then I'll go.
As one of those little changing boys that has no experience about anything in friendships in the world, I came back from Lincoln, and I was afraid that all my friends that I had would suddenly hate me because I left and then came back for no reason.
God bless middle schooler brain.
Yeah, so
you're just 12 and you look at anybody and you want to kill yourself.
I came back and the way I acted was all weird, so like things would happen and I'd laugh, but it was like, my dad died, and I'd be like, oh, that's funny. And then nobody else would laugh, and I'd be like,
I hate myself. Yeah.
Thank you.
He just gave like a stone cold, like dead set face.
Yeah, God.
So that was rough. And then I had my interaction with Neil, and I think things started kind of kicking it up once I realized I wasn't the only fucking weirdo in the world.
Thank you very much.
It's okay to be weird, though. If you're not weird, you're fucking weird.
Yeah,
if you're not weird, you're a normie.
Yeah,
and we don't like that.
You're normal.
No. Can we move on? Like, okay,
wait,
so by the way...
Can I say what I want to say first?
Yeah, you could say... Yeah, do it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So what I was going to say is the thing why I don't think we talked until like junior year of high school or whatever was because... It was whatever it was. It's because I kind of made like a whole new friend group in middle school. Mm-hmm. So there was like a whole other set of people I was hanging out with and whatnot. And then... like high school, and then taking kind of different classes, and we all kind of grew up, and then I was like, all right.
I don't even remember when we first started talking.
I literally just remember like chemistry class.
Yeah, I think chemistry class was
sophomore year Welsh.
Yeah,
that was probably it. That was probably the initiating event.
Dumb.
Yeah, I mean, mind you, like I said, my memory is incredibly fallible. But
mine's pretty
anyway,
bad.
The whole point of this long tangent we've had was divorce is hard on kids.
It really is.
We just had this about the feelings wife and kids is that I want a daughter.
So
I would prefer a daughter as well because of Naughty Dog and their games. So like, especially The Last of Us with Ellie, it's just I feel like you learn to care more as a person if you have a daughter rather than a son. Not saying you don't care if you have a son, but I feel like you're more in touch with your emotions and whatnot if you have a daughter and you know how to talk to people about that.
Fair enough. I feel like a kid does a lot to you in general.
For
a lot of things. It happens to like a lot of things happen to the human psyche that I don't want to have happen to me for quite a long time.
I really want kids, but I don't want to rush into it and make any mistakes with like the wrong person or whatever. Yeah. So
all that and like making sure you're financially stable is another good one.
That's another.
That
thing.
was
I'm
another big one on my life.
As an adult, yeah.
Let's move on to our next.
I can be okay without that person in case
our
that
next
happens.
Bullet.
Yeah, that was a tangent and a half.
That was a big one, yeah.
The next one is goals, short term and long term.
We already kind of explained
those.
Those.
Pretty similar, yeah, with what we've said before.
I don't know. My long term is like I said, when I get older, I think I want to come back to Nebraska, and that's why I want to get a doctorate in architectural drafting. Is along with if I get a teaching education, I can teach architectural drafting, and I want to teach at a high school level.
Okay.
And I kind of want to be like one of the more influential teachers in my life, Mr. Anderson, who hasn't been at the high school very long. He's the architectural drafting teacher and mechanical drafting teacher, and he's just like, he had this whole life, and he tells us stories about how he went to Africa and stuff, and he was in sort of a charity organization down there and assisted, and all these different things he did with his life, and he just comes back as kind of an older person and teaches what he knows, both about the world and about the topic.
Those are the best teachers when they teach you life lessons as well.
Exactly, and I kind of want to be that teacher. I want to be that old teacher that's just like sitting back in my chair all the time, you know, while kids are working on their classwork and whatever, about things I know how to do and stuff, and so I can help them. But on the other hand, I can spend a lot of the time just telling stories and reminiscing about like younger years.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel as well. Because like as a teacher, you get parts of the summer off, so that gives opportunity to go out and do things.
Yeah,
and make memories, and then have stories to tell for your kids so they learn things as well.
Not even for like my kids, just like students.
Well, that's what
I would reference it as
both. Oh, you mean
okay,
like
you could define it as both, like your actual biological kids.
Yeah.
Or like your students.
Well, I think that when you have a really good teacher, it almost feels like the whole class and the teacher connected as a family of some sorts.
Yeah, when you have a really good one, that's for sure.
But if you have a really...
Remember that? Oh, were you there for that one time, Chris?
No, this is going to be bad.
No, okay, it wasn't. You wouldn't have been there. I thought it was Herr G. He probably did it to Herr G at least once, but when we were in Mr. Hurt's class, he once accidentally out loud and very actively called Mr. Hurt Dad.
No, you told me about this.
Yeah, he was like, Dad, and I was like, no! And he was like, oh my god, did I just do that? And I was like, you did! Oh, bless him, though. Like, and I'm like, man.
That's awkward.
Well, that is, but I feel like Chris's parental figures aren't the best. I don't know if, like, I haven't been able to compare, so I don't know if they're, like, the worst out of all our parental figures, but they might be. Like, and that might explain a lot.
He'd have to talk about that.
Yeah, and he doesn't, really.
Yeah.
He just talks about, like, anime and crap.
Yeah, too many.
At least near the end of high school he did, when he really started getting into anime and stuff, and I don't know what he talks about.
Never gotten into it.
Same, bro.
It's pretty crap, I can't lie.
What does he talk about?
Oh, I'm just saying anime in general. It's not
that
great.
Okay, good point, yeah.
What does Chris talk about in terms of things? When I play games with him, he doesn't really talk about, like, life or, like, work or even anime that much.
He's just having fun.
Yeah, he just kind of chills and plays the game. Like, if we play Minecraft, we'll listen to music and we'll just play and kind of, like, I don't know, recently we've been on this world where I'm
going to step out of the room for a bit. I got to take a call.
All
you
right.
guys continue speaking as you would.
Alright.
I'm playing on this world with Chris, and I, like, built part of a city on it. And Chris joined, and I was like, hey, kind sir, would you like to buy a plot of land? And we just started role-playing in a city.
Yeah, you have fun with it. I feel with video games is it's kind of escapism in a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, like, if it brings you happiness, that's definitely something that you should run with. Because that's, at the end of the day, that's really all that matters.
Yeah.
That's partially why I want to be a teacher, because I think I will really enjoy that and be content with it.
Mostly, you'd probably be able to make a lot of other kids experience that same happiness and not like uncomfort or discomfort, I should say. And, like,
so one of my classes this semester is like, it's just like an intro to professional education class, and that was one of the things the teacher said. He's like, when you give kids that like aha moment, that's like everything. Because that's the first time they've ever thought about that in that way. And that just, like, it changes them a lot. And it makes you feel really good about what you're doing.
Yeah, the most experience I have right now with teaching is, like, small bits of tutoring for German. Actually, that did work out really well, and I was always really proud of myself when I did that, because I saw progress in Chris for a while.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like what we did in science. That was more for me, I guess, when it came to the teaching. You ever returned?
Yeah, so like I said, we should have started this at like 3 instead of 4.
Neil knew a call was coming in,
well,
but
I
it's
had
all
to go
good.
pick my mom up from work, but luckily she got my sister to come get her.
Oh, that's
and she
clutch.
called it like 4:30, and
Clutch.
so I feel kind of bad.
What
Where did
time
this
is it?
come from?
Oof, it's 56.
Yeah, she had to go
26
call
minutes
my
ago.
sister
That's
for
not bad.
that. No, not horrible, but
What is that?
I don't know where this came from. I'm gonna set it up here.
I don't either. It's kind of scary. No, don't make him look at me. It's like a small.
What are you guys on now? What are you talking about?
Oh, well, we haven't moved off of.
We're kind of talking about the same thing.
Yeah, we were talking about teaching, and Max was talking about giving kids.
I'm talking shit about you, Neil.
Well, that's what I expect.
Luckily,
Luckily, I'm the one who edits this. Luckily, I'm the one who edits this goddamn audio, so I'll hear every juicy detail. But yeah. So what were you saying? Something about giving kids aha moments.
Yeah. So we were talking about happiness and how that's pretty much the only thing that matters in life is that you are happy with what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to be in life. You want to be happy because it's like you're only there for that amount of time. But with teaching, I was talking about how I have my intro to professional education class and that the teacher described that like when you give kids that aha moment, that's like everything because that's the first time that they've ever thought that way about something and it makes sense and it's the right way to think about it. So it's like they're learning all new things.
Okay.
All the time. That's pretty much where we are.
Yeah, I already did mine. Did you do yours, Alex?
Goals? Short term, I
didn't really say my goals. That was a tangent.
I mean, like, short term goals figure out what it is that I even want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Long term goals is, like, the closest I've come to figuring out what I want to do.
Family.
No, not in terms of family. In terms of, like, a career. Like, when I was younger, my dream job was design video games, because I played a lot of games. And then last year, my dream job was being a German teacher, but the more I think about it, like I said, I don't know if that personality really fits me. Recently, with my drawing and stuff, my dream job right now is to make comics, because I think that'd be really, really fun. And even as we speak right now, I'm working with Soren in progress for a comic.
You guys actually
like
get
a full-fledged
together there?
Yeah, we've thought of a few ideas. Soren was talking about maybe a bank robbery comic because we don't want to do anything that's gonna like run forever. We want it to be like one comic and it ends in that comic because
no continuations.
We don't want to work on a big project just for it to be crap. We want to do a small project so we understand what we're doing.
I mean, that's the way to do it. I mean,
Yeah.
you got to build up a profile and a portfolio and whatnot of like what you know how to do and what you don't.
Yeah.
And when you talk about like portfolios, that tentatively is like if you're trying to get a job doing that somewhere. But I mean, that also works for like experiences. Like if somebody, you know, were to look at that, they can also look at, you know, what you used to do, so they can kind of respect a little more about how your stuff is in the modern day, whenever that is. Is that all we got for that there?
For goals, I haven't done my goals. I didn't do that while you were gone.
Okay, well go ahead, give it a good go.
It kind of ties into the family thing again. Like, that's literally like pretty much the one thing I would want in life, and I'm sure the other things would come after that, like other goals. But family's where I'm at right now. It's just
I feel like once you get to the kid stage, that becomes the last goal. Like make sure they, you know, make it through life to a degree.
Then you have like,
and then you die.
Then you have like retirement goals where it's
as
just
soon
like
as your kid
visiting
hits
things.
18, you just fuck.
Well, that's why I want to do it all when I'm like
I'm
younger.
19. My parents are dead.
No, Ron.
Ben turned 18 yesterday. They're dead.
No,
Again,
Ron.
they're double
50.
dead.
They're double dead.
It's my dad's birthday today.
Dude,
It's
my
Neil's
parents are
birthday
dead
tomorrow.
twice.
Yeah, it is.
Kobe's
The day we're
almost
uploading this on Saturday, it'll be my birthday.
Yeah, Saturday.
Yeah, can we say happy birthday today?
January
Because
18th.
it'll be uploaded
Thank you.
tomorrow. Happy birthday,
Happy
Neil.
birthday, Neil.
Thank you very
Welcome
much,
to
boys.
the 19 club.
Time to go buy smokes again.
Big brain.
I mean, I feel like that's why I want to go do all my visiting and traveling and world seeing when
See,
I'm
I thought
younger.
about
Because
that,
sometimes
too.
I think of like all those old people that go to shit like the Grand Canyon. They walk out, they look at it, and they're like, "That's very
That's
pretty,"
cool. Yeah.
and then they leave. And it's like I want to like
Do stuff there.
dive off that shit head
Yeah.
first. No.
That's another thing I thought about is like, well, I might as well just go out and do things by myself because doing those things is a good experience for me. It's super fun. I get to share those things.
Well, that and
Plus,
even
you
doing
could meet
stuff-
somebody while doing that
Well,
stuff
that
who
and doing
enjoys
stuff
that.
in in a relationship,
Yeah.
like having more than one human being on any interaction
It
is always
strengthens.
cumbersome. Even if
Yeah.
they're really gung ho about what you're doing and
Yeah.
are actively like participating, it's still going to be cumbersome.
So what I'm saying is like I would rather find like the right girl and then go do all those things with her and
Or
then
guy.
eventually settle down and have kids. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm just gonna like run around.
You'll just go vibe by yourself.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go vibe, and then like I figure like because I know other people who are moving off to like other countries and other
Yeah.
places. I'll go visit them as like part of an excuse of being there. Because
Mhm.
like then I get to catch up with people and, you know, not be
You also
like
get to
a
go check
lonely...
things out,
and not be a lonely hermit.
Single gang.
and single gang. My whole life. God
Feel bad now.
oh, I'm sad.
It's okay, Neil. We can be in single gang together, which means that nobody's in single gang anymore.
Yeah, that's very sad. That's a...
That might be more sad. I don't know.
What do you mean? Bros before them damn hoes.
That's true. I keep trying to tell that to everybody I know who's got a girlfriend where they're like, I want to spend every second of every day with this human being. I'm like, that's nice, but on the other hand, bros before hoes. Because lovers and girlfriends and whatever are come and go. But your homies, they're there forever.
Come and go.
Thank you, Max.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I'm
You're older than
mentally.
Yeah, you're older than all of us, but younger than all of us.
I'm told I look really young sometimes.
You do sometimes, like especially when your hair's all short. Like that.
I know.
I always.
That's
look
what
like...
Ian said at work one day. It's like I had really long hair before, and then I had like a lot of like scruff right there.
Yeah, that helps.
And I came in the next day, and I had my hair super short. I just shaven. He's like, dude, you look like you're like 16. I was like,
dude,
19.
I always look.
I was like, I'll take it, I guess.
Like a 45-year-old man, constantly. That is accurate, by the way. My forehead wrinkles a lot more than most folks.
This is it.
My face is a little more worn in terms of like it's
I have
not.
a scar. That adds
Like you look at like Ian's face and it's all like smooth.
Yeah.
Like not like hair wise, but in terms of like
that way too, though.
Yeah, it is. But it's not like pocked.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
And I don't know how to. Not again.
Do not bring that up. That is.
Leave it alone.
That never happened. Don't make it happen again.
Non-existent.
Non-existent. What the hell is this bullet point supposed to mean? Friends. Will I have friends in the future? Fuck no.
Forever alone, single gang.
We are running out of time. Do we want to cover housing and then wrap it up here?
Sure.
So the whole reason we did housing and that Max wrote it down is so I could continue to segue into my German trip.
I didn't write that down. Alex wrote that down.
You told me to write those.
Well, I didn't
so
write it.
Either first or second hand, it was Max.
Handwriting changes.
But yeah, so like what will housing be like in the future? And I mentioned my German trip where housing is already different. Like, because like this house here, multiple floors, a lot of square footage.
Yeah.
You have a plot around it, a considerable plot. I have like some yard on all four sides of my house. Not entirely true in Germany. At least in the cities. I'm sure it's different depending where you go, but very compact modular housing. They fit a lot into a very little space. Their house was quite nice in Germany.
It was Ben. I think it was his family. They had like a barn that they turned into a house or whatever. But that was like it. Like they didn't have anything else around it. They just used like every inch of that place.
It had like well yeah, so like my host family's house, you'd walk in, they had a little doorway. On the left they had like a little office, on the right they had a very small kitchen, and they had like a decent sized living and dining room.
Which is where most of the
And then they had like a small backyard with like I think a shed in there maybe. I don't quite remember the backyard.
When you're in Germany, do you call it a garden like you do in the UK? Or would you call it a backyard? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I have no clue.
But they call it a garden. Yeah.
According to Alex, and he knows.
It's called
I'll take it.
The garden.
And then, so they had like spiral staircase, like not spiral staircase, like a turning staircase up to, kind of like an attic second floor. So like the sides of the house, because it was a sloped roof house, if I remember correctly, were, affected the dimensions of that room. So it had slanted walls. And then they had a basement, which had...
something. That was your back.
They didn't hear that.
Alex popped his back. Let's move on.
And then in the basement, they had one fairly large sort of concrete room, which was kind of like their utility room. And then they had sort of an open area that acted like as both like a bed and basically everything for the basement. A small bathroom down there, which was a full bathroom, surprisingly enough, with a standing shower. And then I feel like there's a room I'm missing.
Well, you were with Ben, yeah?
Oh, I was talking about my host family's house.
I was talking about the other thing.
Oh, yeah, in
Before
Vienna, we lived in a hostel, which are completely different living situations,
Yeah.
no matter where you go, because each
through
hostel is
that.
different. You walk in, there's an
differences.
entryway directly that leads into a sort of rectangular kitchen, so it's very long and not quite
I know
so
what you
wide. one of the other doors right off the entryway led into the bathroom, which was quite large, actually. It had, like, this weird, like, almost hot tub fucking size bath in it that also was a shower. And, like, it had multiple areas for towels and an ironing board. It was a very big bathroom.
Sounds nice.
It was, actually. Our living conditions there were very, very pleasant. Oh, no, that place was very old and had plenty of stank in it. But right when you walked in the door, pretty much, there's the shitter, which had... I've described that before, but the toilet had, like, an island in the middle.
Yeah.
And so, like, you basically shit onto the island. And then, like, the water had to come pull it off. Yeah. And so... Oh, God. And then... So, yeah, you go through the kitchen. On the right, halfway through, there's a bunk bedroom, which is just a very small bedroom. And at the end of the hall, there's what would be equivalent of a master bedroom. Pretty decent size. Yeah, once we all had to go, like, it was like our last day in the hostel, and we all had to take a shit, dude. Every last one of us. So we went in one after the other, and by the end, one of us would, like, crawl in there on all fours, like, I'm going in, with, like, the gas mask on and shit. Takes one breath, goes in, drops the quickest shit you've ever seen, gets out, closes the door. We, like, spray it with some spray. We walk away from it, and we were like, oh God. It was so bad.
You just tape down the spray. It's like a grenade. You just throw that shit in. Smoke it.
God, that place was toxic when we left. Oh, God. Because you gotta consider that that's me. Oh, you piece of shit.
Bravo 6 going down.
Yeah, basically. It was me, your brother, Hayden.
Christoph.
Yeah, Chris, and then some other kid who was, like, above us in grade and was, like... Well, no, it wasn't. He didn't end up staying there.
No, he did. You were a senior.
Yeah, no, there was some kid that was above us in grade, and he was out of high school, and he was in Germany, and he offered to help Harry G. while in Germany.
That's
like
cool.
A wrangler for us idiots.
A wrangler.
Yeah, we were all in there. There was 2 people. There was one person with your brother, one person with Hayden, and then so there's 2 people in each room. So there's 6 people living in that place.
That's cool.
And we all had to go one right after the other. And that's a very different mix. Adding their different diets normally, plus the new German diet, it was not a pleasant smell.
I'm glad I wasn't there.
But yeah, what do you think housing will be like in the future, since we have yet to talk about that as, like, our future?
I'm gonna be a teacher, so I won't make a lot of money, but
not necessarily your housing, just housing in general.
Just like what housing will be
like.
like.
Well, if we all go into nuclear war, we're all gonna be in
everybody
bunkers.
will be underground,
just like the mole people.
I feel like as populations continue to increase, I think houses like this one will probably be made into townhouses to fit 2 families rather than one, etc. So I think housing is going to...
Who gets the basement?
Well, like, I feel like housing in general will just become more, if not compact with new housing, old houses will be made into
population's
more
always going up.
That stuff already happens.
It does already happen, but I think it will become a lot more common in practice.
Yeah. It'll become a lot harder to...
It's not like
population
what
density.
People do with big houses. They cut them up and rent them out to multiple people to make money, but eventually it'll become because of necessity.
Yeah, I was whistling.
That'll be rough.
Yeah, that whistling's gonna come through.
That's
real
death.
nice.
It's gonna break your ears.
What's the time?
It's like 57.
57. So
we got 3 more minutes.
Any
easy peasy.
Closing statements, I guess, or wrap it up.
I was listening to Post, and that's stuck in my head. But I won't say.
Only Sunday best gets stuck in my head. Yeah, so, like, what's
I get Japanese
something you feel like we didn't cover?
Feel like we did,
like something you want to talk about, like in terms of.
I don't know.
I'm always down to talk about family more, but that's just because I'm super.
We could probably do a whole episode.
Yeah,
I mean, like
we already filled like a good chunk of this.
I think about that a lot. Yeah.
We're talking about the dream family. Let's start with the dream wife.
Oh no.
Asian, Japanese,
big titty anime woman.
No.
Bilingual kids.
They don't have to have big titties. I don't care about that.
You an ass man yourself, sir?
Maybe. Both.
I like me some good sized garanga hanga jango.
I mean some real
bazongas.
That video is so funny.
God, it's such a high quality piece of it. Yeah, God, alright, well I feel like the minimum for our hour is an hour, so if we go like a few minutes over, so we got something to fill at least 2 minutes here. Or at least like a full minute.
Gym story? No, we don't have time for that.
Yeah, the gym stories we have to have
that's
like a whole hour left in our hour.
It's like if there's a good 20 minutes left of time.
I don't know, I think the future is definitely something maybe not to look forward to, but to expect. Thank you, me, for my wise words. I am blessed to have my brain. The future is something that will happen. Thank you.
Let your brain take a 5-minute break, Neil.
Yeah, just shut down. God dang.
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm excited for the future. No
I
matter
am
what
too.
happens. Just to see what happens, it'll be cool.
Well, like I said, what did I say the other day? My life is one big joke, and the reason I don't kill myself is because I'm waiting for the punchline.
I need a t-shirt.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the punchline. That's all it
That's all it is. And then we started talking about the Joker movie. I feel like we should fill like 15 episodes of movies.
Oh, movie review episode.
But here's the one limit. We can't talk about Star Wars ever.
I'm fine with that.
Okay. Alex looks like he's about to head out. But I think we fulfilled our time requirements, ladies and gentlemen. We didn't fill all of our things. We kind of went over. We went over travel, but we didn't really.
It was all briefly, kind of. Keep in mind, this list was made about 2 minutes before we started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm going to close this
an hour ago.
Yeah.
If everybody would like to sign off.
Alex, you start.
Just say your name, buddy. Come on.
You can do it. You're almost there.
Oh my god, I'm so nervous. It's Alex.
Reyes.
No, I don't think they did, bud.
Go really close to the mic. Maybe we shouldn't.
Stop!
I'm sorry.
Oh.
Oh no.
This is Alex. I don't know if they get that either.
Yeah, I'm Max. It's been real.
And I've been your host, Neil. And this has been
Hour.
Fucking idiots.